Hello, this is Urban News London. I'm Jazz Dillon. Today's topic of discussion will be what is fueling gun and knife crime in our societies today, here in London. This is the question on everyone's minds at the moment. Is it influenced by music? Is it the media?
Got straight to the news, like all the bits. Sick of this basic business. London Unite, stand up in the pits. I'm done with the boring news, watch this.
Kusai, you are at the moment starting off an organisation called Speak Out Generation, and you are trying to, encourage young people to be more interested in politics, and by making it more, lively and more appealing and vibrant. What do you think? Do you think the media, is where it's all fueling from? Would you say, or?
I honestly believe that it roots off with the media because they're portraying the stories that are negative about our communities, and they portray young people as thugs and hoodlums, even with the terminology that they use. If they balanced it out with talking about the successes that we've got from our community, so people like we've got on this table who actually do things to try and tackle the issues that we face, maybe then we can start taking steps in the right direction and hopefully come to find a solution. But the media just amplifies. It's just, I call it the amplification of numbers. It just it targets issues that we have in our community. They're all problem focused, not solution focused. I think in terms of glamorization, it will be through music. But that's not to say that music fuels the crimes.
Okay.
Music surely has an effect in terms of glamorizing the lifestyle that a lot of people don't live. And I think a lot of us can agree on the fact that you get a lot of musicians who don't really live the life that they live, but it's the lyrics that sell. But if we glamorize the right things, something constructive,
Right.
Education through music, that's something that we don't listen to because it's the mainstream that won't allow that kind of music in. I mean, you got artists like Ekpaloba who rap about real issues that we face in our communities, rappers like Mike Righteous, rappers like Jaja Souls, but those people aren't given that platform, and they're kept quiet solely by you can argue that it's like I said, media they're problem focused, not looking at the solutions but focusing on the problems that we have in the community that we all know about. We all know that there's problems with guns and knives and gangs and violence.
Absolutely.
But if we start focusing on the solutions and how to tackle these problems, maybe then we can take a step into the right direction and actually shift the focus from our young people being thugs, hoodlums, regressive, into actually showing the positive stories of young people. Like myself and others who are actually doing great things.
In my opinion, I think it's similar to what Kusai said. I think it has to do a lot with politics. The government seems to be taking away a lot of the youth clubs and stuff like that for the younger people. So the problem is that the youth of today don't have nowhere to go. The issue with that is you take away something that they enjoy to do, and then they're left idly doing nothing. I think a lot of our young people nowadays are very misunderstood. A lot of police officers, which I don't really work with young people, but I have a lot of young friends through my son. A lot of the police officers seem to be stopping and researching the young people a lot more, in the black community especially, which I think, yes, we do need to stop and search our young people, but also I think you need to be aware of the people that you're stopping and searching at the same time.
Okay, and do you though think that there's enough out there for young people to actually do in today's society? Is there enough to do? Are there enough activities? Is there enough funding?
Definitely not. From my perspective, I believe that the government is taking too many cuts in this particular line. There's closing down a lot of organisations that are actually helping these young people to get out of the lifestyle. It's very hard as a young person to find your identity as it is. A lot of the young people are actually searching for who they are, and some of them don't have the opportunity to find out who they are at home, so they reach out to these people on the street to help them to find who they are. When if they've got somewhere to go, and some people like Stefan and Danny to talk to try to
Support, yeah.
identify and find something that they're good at, then yeah, I think changes could be definitely done.
A lot of things that Grace has said is a fact. It's a fact of life. Engaging with the youth is one part of it, but a lot of parents need to engage with their own children as well.
Oh, right.
Because
So you think it's about parenting as well?
Parenting as well is all a mixture of everything.
Okay.
Because you're
That's interesting.
the best education you get is from your parents.
Yes.
And they're going to teach you the rights and wrongs. But if a parent and the main structure of that household is not there to parent their child, then they've got their own vices. Like you said, the love's gone because there's no love in the house anymore, because they're either at work. Not blaming one parent families, but a lot of these guys haven't got their fathers figures around
Yes.
to give them the structure of say, that's wrong, you can't do it. They're searching for love from a father. A mother can only give so much love.
Yes,
If
yes.
she's out doing the work all day for the child to live with a roof over his head, you can't use a PlayStation as a babysitter. That's an 18 certificate game.
Yes.
You've got kids age of 10, 11 playing these games. They're
Exactly.
not supposed to be playing them, but they condone it
And they are
because
very violent
very,
games,
very
aren't
violent.
they?
The
They're very
game's-
violent.
the game
and
is
brutal.
basically about
Yes.
going on the street, robbing
Yes.
people, killing them, and taking their money. And that is the game. There's no two ways about it.
Do you though also feel that parents need some sort of support out there? You know,
Yeah,
parents need support.
Most definitely.
And don't they, you know?
There's a lot of parents are ashamed that they can't control their child, so they won't shout out for the help. When the help, there are a lot of people out there that will help, but a lot of people are their pride is getting them, and they think, oh, I can't control my city. It's shameful. It's not shameful, because remember, there's a lot of parents out there as well who are have mental health issues, which we don't understand about. There's a lot of it's a circle with everything. So in the end, you can't control your child, so you're pushing back, so the child controls you.
Yes.
Where's the authority there? There's none there. They don't respect their family. They don't respect police. They don't respect the street. And the only people that they do look up to, who have respect for, is the drug dealer, who would make them do anything they want to do because they're going to give them the money, £100 for new trainers or something, just to be running around doing the drug thing. And then that goes into the cycle of, well, that guy owes you money. You got to stab him, or you
Yes.
got to shoot him. So it's a circle. So. You know, it's
a vicious circle.
Exactly, and
It's
the
a vicious
schools are to blame
circle.
as well, because you can't just keep excluding kids for badness.
So what do you feel that schools can do?
Well, you know, they send them to the youth offenders crib, and what happens there is you're mixed up with the rest of the guys that are bad. So you're losing a losing battle straight away. If you keep getting told every day you're not going to make it, you're not going to be any good. In your head, you're going to say, I'm not any good, but these guys on the street are making me that I'm good, I'm okay, I'm sweet.
Right.
So,
Yes.
you know.
So it's a wrong type
Yeah,
of
so-
role models, really.
Everybody's got a part to play in that kid's life to make him understand life. I can do anything I want to do. Like the young man here, he can do anything he wants to do. He's at the age where life is his goal. Do what you want to do. If you put your mind to anything, you can do it. You don't have to. You're a connoisseur anyway. You know about apes and quarters how to sell things. So why can't you
Yes.
go to the stock exchange and be selling stocks?
What I think is we've got a problem is where society are allowed to judge each other, and parents that have got a problem child are seen to sort of like scared to say anything because they're scared of social services. But I think the problem is it's not just the children. I think we've got a
Okay.
community issue.
It's
You
a
know,
community issue which nobody is speaking about.
Well, no, you know,
Really?
it seems very focused on, you know, youth and gangs. Where the problem is now it's become a bigger problem. We've got domestic violence, we've got mental health issues, and we've got just a lack of respect for each other.
Broader problem, isn't it?
You know, it's just so what we're trying to do is, we know that knife crime has been around for a long time. And it will continue, but we need to do more, because unfortunately the government have given it lip service since roughly 2005.
Yes.
And we've seen the issues is since then it's just rose and rose every year.
No.
Too many people are blinkered to the idea there. We jump up and down at the moment because of what happened in London this week. But then, if you look at it, they're trying to gloss it over as it's a terrorist incident.
Yeah.
But it was actually
Which
a
it
knife
isn't,
attack.
because
It was a
it's
knife
happening.
attack.
It's a knife attack.
Time
Yeah,
and
yeah,
time
yeah.
again, in our communities.
Same knives that the kids are carrying these days. And we've got to remember that it's not just the boys, it's the girls as well. The girls are carrying the knives
That's
to the
right.
boys.
That's right.
And so
yes.
it's a bigger problem, and it doesn't matter. I've always said,
and it's just escalating, isn't it? It's just escalating
every day.
into a very serious problem.
The only ones you hear about are the ones that died. You don't hear about every stabbing that happens every day because it's a normal thing now. It's not this everyday occurrence.
It's normality now, isn't it?
And it's even fear from one going to the police as well. A lot of people that get stabbed, some come out on license. If they get stabbed, they might get interrogated, so they don't even bother going. I know people that get stabbed and just sit at home and wait for themselves to kill themselves because they know that if they end up going to the services, the police will get involved, and that can lead to a whole other mess as well. So if the police themselves were more engaging and actually allowed for a window of opportunity for young people to come up and say, and come up to them and actually talk to them about these issues, maybe then we can go from somewhere.
Okay.
I've reported in my on my page 121 stabbings and 19 fatal across the country. That is just the tip of the top of the iceberg.
Yeah.
You know, and that is the problem. Is as the other guy said, we had kids going home and actually stitching themselves.
Yes.
Rather than getting help and getting medical support because they're scared of being arrested afterwards.
Yeah.
Hi. I guess for me, in agreement with what everybody else is saying, but I want to sort of shift the narrative a bit because I feel like, for me, the big thing is responsibility and taking ownership. Part of the narrative that has been stated by everyone here, I think, is in a way part of the problem. In essence, because it enables young people to have excuses. Even though some of these things are part of the reason, because everything's a cause and effect. Part of that cause might have happened a long time ago, but now we're now seeing the effect of it now. But the thing is, a lot of young people are now using it as an excuse. It's about the police, it's about the education system, it's about the politicians. But at the end of the day, it's about choices. Every young person has a choice to make, even though your past leads you to that point eventually to make that choice in the first place. But we now need to take ownership and realize that what we need to do is intervene and make sure that when those choices come, they are able to make the right decisions. Because if we keep enabling them and making some of these excuses, even though like they are facts, these are things that are happening every single day. In regards to, I'm coming from a background of education and working in alternative provisions where young people have been kicked out of mainstream school. I can sit here and talk about how that fuels knife crime in regards to when young people are socially excluded from mainstream education because they're not in an academic bracket.
Right.
And the impact that has on them once they're now displaced and put into these units and made to feel like criminals before they've even committed a crime. And so that continues to fester. Eventually, there's a lack of tolerance even within those alternative provisions. And from there, they're now permanently excluded with no education at all. And so they're now on the streets. So you can imagine when young men are idle, we all know what happens. But before we get to that stage, it's all about enabling and talking about the choices that they have. And that is important. We need to take ownership, and we know what the problems are. We know the politicians don't care. We know that things are not going to change. We know they're going to continue to cut funding. We can keep saying these things over and over again, but it's not going to change. It's going to get worse. Eventually, there won't be any services. So what happens? We all go home. For me, it can never be that. We need to take ownership and say, okay, what's the next step? Since we know they're not going to fund it, then how do we invest in ourselves?
Do you then feel that now, it's up to us as a community to make a stance and to try to, tackle these
100%.
horrific crimes?
So, for instance, when we're talking about funding, I feel like the biggest funders are ourselves, but we need to put our money where our mouth is. A lot of people are not willing to do so. Some parents will say, "Oh, my child is well behaved," but that doesn't mean anything because he can easily become a victim today and he can become a perpetrator tomorrow.
We was the first ones to march from London, from Trafalgar Square to Downing Street to tell them.
Yes.
Because a lot of people think the community don't care, but you know what? We do. We do, but they don't. A lot of people don't know how to go. They shut the door and think it's not my problem until it's their door, but it's on your doorstep. Every time you come out your house, you might see some huge.
I think it's everybody's problem.
Everybody's problem. It's a community's problem, and then
yes.
it's the quicker and the sooner that we all get out and say, you know what, I don't want this no more for my children. I want
Make a stand.
Make a stand.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
By working together, we can achieve the unachievable. If you have a problem in your community and you'd like to talk about it to Urban News London, then contact us on urbannewslondon@gmail.com. Thank you.